Okay guys, so now let's begin with the process. For this, what you need, the first thing that you need is just a bowl, a regular bowl at your home, any bowl. Okay, you need the second thing, that is a scissor and the paper that you would like to recycle. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just take this paper out. So guys, I have taken these papers out. Okay, these are the papers that I'm going to recycle. Now what you're going to do is that you're going to collect them together. Now what we'll be doing is that we'll be cutting it in the form of the stripes, and you can just see that how I'm doing this. So this is how you're going to go about these papers. Like I have cut one section. Okay, now I'll add this into the bowl. So guys, there we go. I have made some yeah, so I have made these, I have cutted these papers, and this is what it looks like. Now the next step is going to be in the kitchen, so let's go to the kitchen. Thing that we need to do with these papers is that we will be adding some water into it, and we are going to dip them properly in the water. I think this container is a bit smaller, so I'm going to just transfer this into the bigger container. So there we go guys, I have just transferred this. Now we're going to add more water in. You have to add enough water so that the paper is completely dip into the water. Okay, you have to keep it undisturbed for 1 hour. Here we go guys, now it has been around 1 hour, and it looks something like this. So this is what we will be using, and now we'll be creating a paste out of this, and for that we will be using a mixer grinder. It's a normal mixer grinder. Okay, and you have to just add these papers into it. So there we go guys, I've decided that I'll do this in 2 batches because I'm still left with some. So I'll just first of all do this one, and then I'll take another batch. And I've also added a bit of water into it. Okay, now I'm just going to just set my machine. So I'm just gonna set my machine now, and there we go. Now I've added this. Now I'll just lock this up, and from the conventional way in which you use your after putting on the lid, now I'm just gonna switch this on, and we're going to blend this up. So guys, after giving it 3-4 rounds, it looks something like this, and it has been a good paste form. This is the consistency that you can have. Okay, so guys, I have made the paste out of it, and it looks something like this is the consistency that you guys can have. This is a good consistency. Now after doing this, we have to move on to our next step. So now let's go for it. Guys, here I have my paste which I have just created, and this is the paste. Now the next thing that you guys need to do is to get a big bowl. So I will try to increase. Okay, never mind. So this is a big bowl in which I have filled water, a good amount of water. Okay, and then what you have to do is that you have to take around 1 tablespoon of this mixture, and you will be adding it into this. And I'm taking another spoon. So I've added 3 spoons of this mixture, and I'm going to mix this with the water. You have to take a good amount of water and you have to mix it nicely so that the fibers would get disintegrated inside the water. So guys, now the next step is to take a sieve. This is a sieve that we use to refine wheat in our daily routine, and I've just dipped it inside the water, and along with the water the paper granules are upon the sieve. Now what would happen is that the water would rinse, and the paper particles would be left upon the sieve, and this is what we want. Okay, we don't want water, we just want the paper particles. And as you can see, the paper particles are very fine in nature, and I'm just properly rinsing all the water in it so that I am left with a quite dry pulp of paper. Now as you guys can see, this is what it looks like. So guys, a quick backstory here on why the water is green, because I actually tried to add color into this paper mixture so that I could have green colored paper, but what ended up happening is that the color of the paper was still white and all the green color was in water only. Now what I'm doing is that I'm taking a cloth which is dried cotton cloth, and I'm just pressing this paper with my hands, okay, with the force. You have to put a good force upon equal force upon the paper, okay, from all the sides, and you have to take a dry cotton cloth for this purpose. And you have to actually, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to absorb the water. So as you guys can see, the paper ended up being quite dry, and this is what we actually have to do. I'm giving it up another try. Okay, I'm just folding the paper again, and sorry, the cloth again, and I'm just dapping it upon so that the paper is completely moisture free. So guys can see I'm just taking a good number of attempts to make it dry, and you have to apply a good force, otherwise your paper would get, the paper would get disintegrated. You have to just force it to get into a proper shape. Now I have felt that the paper has been dry enough. Now I'm just tapping on the back of the sieve so that the paper comes out of the sieve into the onto the paper which I have beyond beneath this sieve. And you have to take a dry paper. So as you guys can see, I have got my paper out of the sieve, and this is what it looks like. It is having rough edges, but you can of course use a scissor and go on shaping it afterwards. But this is what it looks like. Isn't it so beautiful? You are creating a whole new paper out of the paper which are of no use to you. I've changed the newspaper because the previous one was quite wet. Now I'm just going to transfer this paper onto the dry newspaper like this. There we go. Now we have our paper here on the dried up newspaper, and I have kept this paper aside. So guys, as you can see, after making the paper, I have just put them to dry out, and I would put them like this overnight to see that if tomorrow it would be able to be dried fully, or otherwise I have to just put it under the sun to make it dry completely. So you can also do the same. You can just put them so at a place where they are not disturbed that much, and just you can allow them to dry overnight. Guys, this is what it looks like after completely getting dried up. You guys can try it yourself and share in the comment box your experience of making your own paper. Thank you.